Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today we're going to be reading your tea leaves. Now, today we're doing this a different way. Usually, I've done the steeping and I've drank the tea and you just have an image kind of already ready for you. Now, today we're going to do it with a little bit of tea left and we're going to switch between. Right? We'll read a little bit of the signs and then we'll kind of switch it around. We'll see what the next sign comes up as, right? This is a little bit different. Stick with me. But I promise it's interesting because I want you to see how these tea leaves kind of lay themselves out. And I'm going to do it just for you, Cancer. Well, I might do it for other signs, but you're my first attempt. Okay, so go easy on me. We will begin with kind of a swoosh around here. Let's see. We're gonna. It's kind of like gold panning, if you've ever. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll stop right here. Now let's see. Okay, so we have what looks like a lizard. Do you see that kind of laid out there? Kind of as if you would think of, what is that? Oh, there was that sunblock back in the 90s, I think. It had the lizard on it. Now, to me, the lizard, especially in this kind of laid out, hanging out in the sun, bringing in the energies, the vital energies, being recharged, taking your time, taking care of yourself, just kind of laid back, doing it slow, right? The lizard is, listen, there's a lot of different interpretations. There are a lot of different attributes in different mythologies and systems and of symbolisms and stuff for the lizard. Of course, very complex and aged symbol. Going back to the prehistoric times, right? And so we have in it this kind of primordial energy. We have that fire energy via the salamander, the keeper of the fires, the vital energies of life, the creative flow that is, the thing that kind of brings movement to the universe, right? And so we also have kind of, if you're looking in a more materialist sense or in the physical world, kind of the interpretation that I have here. And that is one where we have a cold-blooded animal that is drawn to heat. It is drawn to that fire element again, right? We're talking about that flare of life, that spark. We also know that the lizard is one that acts off of instinct. Okay. So I feel like when we have the sign, there's this real indicator that it's like, okay, you need to get back to the basic things, like back to your foundational supports for life, right? And what does that mean? Stuff like, are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? That's a big one. That is the one for most of us, right? Are you sleeping enough? And if you are if you're sleeping, right? Maybe you're saying, Lenore, I get 8 hours, 9 hours of sleep, right? I'm still tired, whatever. You're probably not getting into those deeper cycles of sleep, right? The REM sleep, the restorative sleep. So, maybe checking. And I'm sorry if my voice sounds, I have an ear infection. I'm like, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. So I'm hitting some of the tones and it's like, it's buzzing. My ear is buzzing kind of. So I'm sorry if I sound, I don't know. Also, I've been crying. I'll just be real. I've been crying. I cried all morning today. you know, because of what's going on in the world, right? We all know. We all know, and I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. Pick one of the things. There's always something, or many things. But yeah, you know, that the big, lingering, oppressive one. And I know still you're like, well, what are you talking about? Oh, and I laugh because it is so, it's hard. It's hard to, I know that we're going through a great collective ordeal, and I sit here baffled, although I know exactly why. You know, there is a huge transition happening for all of us. We are at a point where we're going to have to make some real decisions about, you know, what is our place in this world, you know, individually, collectively, and what kind of world will we allow going forward? You know, going forward, what are we, you know? And so, yeah, I've been crying. You know, it's not defeat. It's not a defeated cry because, baby, I'm still here. You know, I'm not going to say I went through the level of things that people in those files went through, but, you know, I am no stranger to similar childhood things. And so I know that it is hard for a lot of us, and yet here we are, you know, and I am I was ending a magical operation, or I'm tying it up at this moment and beginning a new one, and it just coincided with this, all of this. And I knew, you know, coming into this last 6 months, I was like, there is just, you know, and I've said it in my readings, I knew something like a black hole was approaching, right? The heaviness of all of that condensed energy, something unseen and looming, yet it feels familiar because it is information that we understand and we knew, but we didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew, but we didn't know. Now we know. So, baby, everything happens in its right time. I'm tired. I've had a hard life. But I am a daughter of the mother. And you might be a daughter of the mother. You might be a son of the mother. Oh. And I tremble. I tremble at the fire. The fire that is within us. And maybe that's what our lizard is, because we are, you know, I think collectively coming to this place where it's like, yeah, we've been hanging on, we've been trying to make the best of what, you know, whatever this life is, trying to abide that which we've been taught, what we've been raised within, these systems, these institutes, and it cannot be anymore. The stars, the celestial bodies say so. All signs point to, baby, the inferno. And I don't mean like, you know, we're descending into. We're already there. We've been there. Okay? But now we see how they move. They love to show us how they move. Okay? but we have eyes to see. And we have the heart of the mother. We have the heart of the mother. And this time coming up, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. And I, you know, I'm going to actually add a little bit of water here. We're going to put a little bit of just regular water with the tea. I let it soak up too much. So we had that. Now, you know, I'm going to try to stay out of those sectors. But, you know, you can hear it. I'm just not, you know, I'm not going to align myself with anything in particular because honestly, I am not. Okay, let's see. But I also know, you know, I'm a human being. And I love other people. You know, I love people. I might not interact with them too much, but I have a great love for people. And I know that my work here is to help support, you know, the upliftment of the collective, of humanity. And, you know, transmuting some of the stuff that we have that is weighing us down, you know, just through doing service of, you know, love and fellowship and educating myself and healing myself in my line and, you know, all these things that we all are trying to do. And let's look. I want to do some quick ones. I'm watching this, I'm talking. I hope that you're seeing that every time you move this, there are so many different images. Okay. So let's go right here. We have, it looks like a person standing. They're holding what looks like a scythe. Okay. So this is, it is Kronos, it is death, it is Saturn, it is that reminder, right, of death walking right beside us at all times. Okay, this is time. This is the old father. Okay. Now, over here, it looks like we have two dogs. Okay, this one is facing this way. It looks like it's barking. Okay. So we have protectors. Now, behind, right, we have, it looks like an animal kind of standing in the back here. Okay, so the interesting thing that I feel that has been happening for a lot of us, and especially for you, Cancer, is I feel like there's a sense of really going back into the fundamental beliefs, tenets, virtues that you have. Right? And I feel like you are revisiting. I keep spilling little tea. I'm sorry. It's just like, you are revisiting some of those things that are very moving to you. Right? Those things that are very immediately. You know, we all have the things that are like, I would never, ever put up with that in my life. I would never accept that in somebody else. I could not have somebody like that in my life. I would not look past certain things, right? And this isn't exactly what our virtues are, but they are very, you know, it's tied close to the things that we prioritize, right? And so I feel like as we are in this kind of collective neurosis and also disorientation and also great fear and uncertainty, the reaction of many is to pull in and protect their own, right? Your families, your local communities. Okay, so I feel, and now Saturn, you know, often in the myths, you know, he's not really the coolest dude, right? He's like eating his kids. He's trying to stay in power, but he was also the ruler of the golden era, right? And then you can get far and deeply into alternative histories or the arcane mythologies and the kind of niche researchers of certain aspects of that. And you will see that in this golden era, it was almost supposedly a time where everything was in its perfection. So there were things like you didn't have to consume to stay alive, right? You didn't need to take in other matter or energies to sustain your own energies, because everything was perfectly balanced and in its perfection. Okay? So, and it's interesting, some of these I believe in my own little taking note of details. I think some of these kind of ideals still you see in these higher forms of meditation, Tantra, Jainism, this idea that we should not be aggressively consuming things or dominating things for our own purpose, right? Even to the extreme of, not consuming anything at all, right? Or being very specific in how you obtain things that you consume. I remember reading this thing about a monk that would sit beneath a fruited tree, and he could not pull one of the fruits off, of course. He could not take it from the ground because it had already been claimed. But if the fruit happened to fall into his lap or his hand, or it was given to him by the universe, then so he could consume it, right? Oh, shoot. And so I feel like, and I'm kind of off on a ramble, but I feel like, there's this sense of, in this urgency of being, you go back to your roots. And it doesn't have to necessarily be like a religious system, or any kind of formal set of beliefs, but the things that you know to be true, just from your lived experience or your intuition. It's like when you're a kid and, not a toddler, a little older, and you start to understand other people's pain through empathy. Right? But you've also experienced some kind of pain because you understand there is pain, right? And they begin to become motivated to avoid causing pain because they know it doesn't feel good, like to be made fun of, or somebody to take something from you, or, whatever. And then we condition it out of us, right? Because of competition and trying to make resources and scarcity and, all this kind of thing. But there is that point where it's very pure. A pure moment of, I don't like the way that made me feel, so I'm not going to do this to other people, or I'm not going to behave in that way because it's a negative feeling. And they see that, through self-experience and then from witnessing more and more as, the brain gets more complex. But that is all to be said, that at points in our life, especially in times of chaos, grief, loss, being disenfranchised, having, a sense of hopelessness, right? These are moments where all of the other stuff, all the fake stuff, all the, delusion that we create for ourselves to live in, to be comfortable, to have some sense of safety and meaning and all of that. And all of us do this. We create highly complex delusions, to live in our whole lives, right? And they change, of course. But there are moments, oh yes, there are moments where all of that stuff is just laid open to be seen. This happens very, very clearly when we lose people. When we lose the people we really love, the people that we're very close to. So, I'm not saying that that's happening now for you, but I do feel like the collective anxiety, the collective freak out that is happening and is only going to get more intense, I assume, it has really propelled you into self, into those old places. And I'm not saying old places like they're ones that don't serve you. No, these are the places that are kind of where your foundational thinking, feeling, being come from. Okay? So really it is a kind of, I would say, a precursor to some kind of rebirth. Okay? So I feel very certain, in fact, that you're going back into these places of conviction, virtue, and you are going to guard that with everything you have. I think that you are absolutely not going to play the game. And so we prepare, right? We prepare for what is to come. What are our lives going to look like? How are we going to go forward? And, likely, and I'll say this, very honestly, and I'm putting some more water in there, you guys. Very likely it will blow over. And what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. I'm not a person that's like, let me be very clear here. When I talk about us doing something, like, and I say us as a collective, the greater us, 100% it is about self-refinement. It is about educating yourself, making sure that you have skill sets that are going to help you and keep you alive in the future. That you are, every day learning something new, how to do something, how to build something, how to, process food, whatever it is. We start by holding ourselves accountable, the people in our direct lives accountable. That's, I'm limited to that degree. That's as far out as I can say. I'm not necessarily a person that gets super involved in larger community things. As far as, I don't know. There are some people that need to go out there and make change in the world, and that is their work, and I think that's very important. But for a lot of us, and I'm imagining you've been kind of brought here by our likeness in some way, right? The work needs to be done in our private lives. We want change. We want things to be different in the world. We maybe even want different systems of operation. We have to prepare by learning, by knowing how to do stuff, right? by being ready to take responsibility for the things that we want in our lives. We have to know how to do, like, in my imagining of like what is most important, like if I was going to say, oh, this is what I want to teach my daughter or whatever, if I wasn't going to be here later on or whatever, how to, if all of a sudden you didn't have things being delivered and a car with good tires to get to town, and what would we do to sustain ourselves, right? And that's where I personally, and I'm not like this big, like, what are they called? They used to be called preppers or whatever. I'm not like into that. I'm not necessarily exactly that anyways, but very much into being prepared for life, you know, being and also expecting of my daughter and the people that are in my life to be able to do the same, right? And to hold each other to these standards of, you know, we have to keep, if, like, for instance, if you know how to make a fire, do you know how to make a fire? Like a good one, do you know how to keep it going for, 3 days? Maybe not, right? And I'm not saying like, like I know how to do it only because I was lucky enough to camp a lot when I was young. But, a lot of people don't. And these are the kinds of things we need to think about, I want to sit and cry all day long about this stuff. I want to lament constantly. The only thing I can do, and I don't know who you are, but I would suspect one of the only things that you can do is empowering yourself, empowering the children in your life, So anyways, I got away from this kind of. You know me, I have all the things to say, and you come here, we talk. Now, I want to see, here we have people playing music. Look at that. We have, it looks like a person standing here. Here's their head. This person standing here. It looks like they have some kind of instrument. We have a person over here who looks like they're standing on a little box, a soapbox or something. And, is this out of focus? And let's see the stick. Their little soapbox right there, and they're standing like in a jacket or something, arm raised, like they're the conductor. And then over here, it looks like we have a big fish. Okay, so money. We have an eye right here, and look, at kind of a smiley face down here. Here are 2 eyes and the mouth. So I feel like you're very drawn to being involved in some kind of creative project with other people. Maybe it's music. I have to say, I know I'm going to be in trouble for saying Cancers are the best musicians. Usually Cancer people make kind of weird experimental music of whatever genre, but definitely the best musicians of all, I have to say. But I feel like it's more like along the lines of wanting to be involved in something where you can do it with other people. Okay. Now, the thing that I see here, though, is that there's a big focus on money. Now, maybe there's not enough money right now. Maybe you'd like a little more. Maybe you're the type of person that keeps saying, once I make this, and then I can finally take some time and go do this. And it's always kind of that thing that blocks you from pursuing those more creative endeavors. Well, it feels to me, and we're going to move this around one more time and see where is it going to take us. Okay, here, let's see. What does this one look like? Now, it seems to me we have, it looks like F8. And then this one, oops, gosh, I keep spilling this. This is hard to do it this way. We have a bicycle right here. You can see the front tire and the back tire. We have A. What is that? Is it Ian? I keep thinking the name Ian for some reason. Ian. Let's move this way and we'll look. Oh, there we go. We have the face. Look at that with the crown. Eye, nose, mouth, crown. We have a mountain range right here too. Look at that. That's pretty. Look at this one. It looks like the Grand Tetons or something. Okay. So, man. So I feel like this is almost kind of like something that you probably did when you were younger, right? Like maybe you were in a band, maybe like you played sports, or, I don't know. You were in some situation where you had like a squad of people that you hung out with, that you did something with. It wasn't idle necessarily. It feels like there was a common goal. It was productive. You felt like you were part of a team, all of that stuff. Now, I feel like that has been something that has been missing from your life for a while. I think that you thought maybe this is what my family life is going to feel like, and I don't think it does. Okay, now, maybe there are people out there that feel that way within their families, but, as much as like I would say, me and my husband and I, are a great team, usually. I mean, we have our moments, right? I would call us a team. Our daughter and our household and all of this. But it's not the same as being like on a team that is outside of your core kind of dynamic. Okay. So like you're out on like a softball team. It feels like kind of like a family or a work family or a friends group or whatever. It's not exactly the same as the family thing. All right. Now, like I said, some families might feel this way. I don't know. I don't know. Within my family, I feel like, well, we're just kind of like ride or die. You know what I mean? We're like gang deep, But I feel like it is something that you're awakening to. I want to do something that's my own, that makes me feel involved in the world, and people are at least, know that I exist, kind of thing. And I feel like this is maybe like an itch that you haven't really realized how much you've needed it. So as you get into this, as you find like wherever your belonging might be, it starts to really change you. I mean, not change you like at the core, but I think your disposition softens. I think you're more willing to talk to people, be around people. Sometimes you go home, you feel like, absolutely drained from all this socializing, but at the same time feeling good because you said something funny, or somebody got your idea, they heard you, you know what I mean? Somebody said, hey, how you doing? And they didn't keep walking, right? They sat there and they listened. They really wanted to know, how are you doing? How was your day? So yeah. Now the king, we had that king or that person wearing the crown. I feel like you're really at this place where it's like, as the world kind of becomes more perceivably unhinged and absurd, or, wild, crazy, neurotic, schizophrenic, whatever, right? You're getting your stuff together behind the scenes. You're starting to really figure it out, because it's like all of the illusion that was there before, and like the keeping up with the Joneses, and the I'm not doing good enough, fast enough, and I don't compare to this, all the things. Even if you say you're not competitive or you don't care what other people have, we're social beings. Okay, we're all influenced and affected by other people and other people's lives. And just because you say it doesn't make it so, right? But there are times in our lives where like we just, something like, really just brutal happens. We lose our mother. We lose, the house that our family has had for years or something. You know, something devastating happens, or the world goes crazy. All of a sudden, you don't understand how you even are a part of this world, you know. But in reaction to all of that, you lock in, right? You just start doing what you know you need to do, even if you haven't named it. So anyways, thank you for being here with my silly new, I was trying something different. I just want people to see how cool the images are. They just kind of come up on their own, obviously. But nobody ever sees that part. So I don't know. I'm going to try to figure it. Okay, something happened with my camera. I don't know what that was, but I'm going to roll. I don't know if the first lucky number came through. If it's I'm going to have to edit the video together, but the first lucky number is 33. Hopefully it's still on there. I'll do 3 more just in case. 24, 60, and 21. All right. Well, hopefully this doesn't, hopefully it all works out. We'll just get it clipped together. I think the camera overheated. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with me, Cancer. You guys are always the most compassionate and honest. I love you. I love you. I love you. Please take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll talk in just a few days. Good night.